Hi there, folks. Welcome back to Rich Review. So, in the latest of the films that didn't go wide release in theaters, didn't make much money, or found their way onto the internet. The latest of this film happens to be called Monsoon. This debuted several years ago at a couple of film festivals, and this is directed by Hong Kao, and he partially based off his life. I'll explain why later on. And this stars Henry Golding, the Asian flavor of the month, and obviously he starred in Crazy Rich Asians, which obviously that was about, what happened in Malaysia. This here happens to be about a man named Kid. He is returning to Vietnam after 30 years because he and his family fled as boat refugees when he was around 8 years old, and his father happens to have worked for the Americans, to a prisoner of war camp, after which they promptly left. And that happens to be based on the director's own experiences in Cambodia. Beginning of the film, he ends up coming to see a distant cousin who he hadn't seen in so long. The primary reason why Kid is there is because his mother had died, and his mother forbade him to come back to Vietnam. He wants to honor her wishes, and so he does come back, and obviously the distant cousin does show him the places that they used to play at. And obviously, at least one scene, there was a garden that they used to play at. That's now being totally transformed into a empty lot. Obviously, the first thing he does when he gets to Saigon, obviously Ho Chi Minh City, is he gets an apartment or a refurbished apartment in which to stay. And we just see the beautiful skyline. Now, my parents obviously wanted to go to Vietnam this year. Obviously, the pandemic happened, and he meets this black American who happens to be the guy who played Barack Obama in South Side with You. And he at first tells him, "Oh yeah, my old man was a Vietnam veteran," and he had some unpleasant memories afterwards. And he didn't know if he should have worn a Canadian arm patch when coming to Vietnam. Obviously, there are still some scars, and if you saw an earlier film this year, The Five Bloods, it's no more or less impactful as we show the older generation that still remember the war. The younger generation doesn't really know the war all that well, although they're probably told about it by their elders, and how some younger people don't understand their parents. That's always a universal theme. He also meets up with a tour guide. Parents sort of work in the tea industry, and she likes art and artistry, and she doesn't really want to go in the tea business. The Kid character goes on a train ride to Saigon to Hanoi. Train ride takes a very long time to do. Obviously here it's shown in no time at all. And obviously, Kid here doesn't really know Vietnamese all that well because he was raised British to a certain extent. People overseas tend to know English very well. And yes, there is a forlonging of where did you come from? Where did you grow up now? And obviously, that's always going to be there with people who have to figure out, where do I belong in this world? The two scenes on this train ride that obviously stick out. One is when he shares a ride with an elderly woman, and then when he is in between cars, I guess, he happens to come across a Frenchman who thinks he's a native and asks for a cigarette. Obviously, he's not native and he speaks perfectly good English. And obviously, there's not a whole lot of plot to this film, but it does show you some wonderful scenery that I happen to enjoy. I would love to go to Vietnam at some point in my life. So in the end, folks, what I'm going to say about Monsoon, I'm going to give this maddening, because quite frankly, there are some lovely indeed moments. So folks, Monsoon, have you seen this? What did you think? Please put everything in the comment box below here, folks. As always, folks, like, comment, subscribe, immerse yourself up with knowledge. I'll see you next time, folks. Yes, hooray.